All right, everyone, welcome and good morning to the Smite World Championship, week number 6, EU qualifiers to the regionals. My name is Driver, and today I am joined by Hindu Man. How you doing, my
Am I a
friend?
ghost again? I'm not. I
You're a
can't see. I'm
ghost. You're a
delayed.
spooky ghost.
I just want to see what production have done to me today. Can I fly around the
You look
screen or
great.
something at
You look
least?
great. You look
You
great.
are?
Yeah, you look very
That
very
sounds
swell.
so sarcastic.
You know what? You look swell. You look
That sounds so
keen. You
sarcastic.
look
Oh,
keen.
it's a bit better than yesterday, but it
Why
looks
you
like I've
gotta
got.
be? You know
Wow,
what?
my forehead
Hindu,
is bigger than yours.
Hindu,
How is that
Hindu,
possible?
Hindu. You look great. Okay. Don't let
Okay.
anyone drag you down. Don't judge yourself like that. Don't fall in that spiral. You look fantastic today. I love your bow tie. You're a
Thank you.
winner, and today's your
Thank you.
day. You're
My
glowing.
day.
You're
I'm
glowing.
literally glowing.
You're
Yes,
You're
it's true.
glowing. I'm
It's
not
literally
kidding.
glowing.
So, welcome to the Smite World Championship, week number 7, EU regional qualifiers, ladies and gentlemen. 6 weeks have been concluded so far, 6.5, I should say, considering the fact that NA was completed yesterday. Surprisingly enough, we got a little bit of upset in the finals. Snipe.
We did get
Snipe.
some upset. Sorry, I was waiting to speak and I already forgot what I was supposed to say. But yes, Snipe
Ghosts.
yesterday were ridiculous. These ghosts, you can't get good employees these days. Good
Especially when
casters.
they're ethereal.
Yes, they're just floating around the screen randomly. Why did I say stream?
That's right.
But
So
it is a
Snipe,
stream as well. So yes,
Snipe
Snipe did
went to the
so
grand
well.
finals.
Drybear, that
That's
was
right.
the best games I've ever had the pleasure of casting that final. Honestly,
Oh, they
EU bring on some amazing stuff, right? And it can be close in EU, but that was intense. That was really, really good to cast.
wasn't it though? And I think it
Oh,
kind
it
of
was.
validated them as a team because they've been working so hard to get something, but they really haven't been able to so far. And it's kind of really, I must be relieving. It must be, more of a catharsis for them in the way that they can come out, make it to the grand finals, and then actually win. I'm sure they celebrated very, very heavily yesterday. Today, we have a bit of a weird situation in EU, right? 5th seed is 7 seeding points away from 4th seed. The top 4
So close.
teams go to the EU regional LAN, and it's very, very close. Now, of course, first and second, they have so many points now that they would have to lose for a very long period of time, and then third would have to win first place 3 weeks in a row. They feel like they're set, but third and fourth, they're kind of, being fought over right now, very, very close in the seeding points together. So, we're looking to see if any team's going to get upset for that 4th slot. Looking at EU, you can see I5 is at 159. And then Agilitas is at 152, 7 points away. Worth Game is 239, so they're just a little bit ahead. They're about 80 points ahead of 4th slot when they're in 3rd place. But then again, for those of you who don't know, 1st place is 100 seeding points, 2nd place is 60. So right there, if you finish 1st and 2nd, it's a 40-point differential, 60 down to 40 for 3rd, and then 4th place is 25. So each of these slots have, very, very big gap in pointings together. So we're going to be getting the game here. First match is going to be SK Gaming. We know them. We love them. We're looking to see what they can do for us today. SK has been a team that's been coming out very, very strong, but not as strong as we expect, right? So Vindicate is going to be their target for today in the round of 32 as they get set up to play. And, I think SK really needs to come out and play because they haven't really shown anything strong in the last few weeks.
That's true. They've had a lot of really, really difficult weeks all in all, and they've struggled against the quarterfinals, mainly against Team Solo Mid, who is their opponent they face most of the time in these qualifiers. However, there is 4 weeks left, including this week. If they can win all 4 weeks, then they will go to the LAN just because
right.
of how close the points are and the fact you get 100 points for a win. They could go to the LAN if they can win all 4 weeks. So SK still in this one. One big thing to mention though, Dry Bear, my favorite team is not involved this week, and I'm really surprised by it.
Oh, what team is that?
Team Bai has not made it into the bracket this week.
Oh, no.
I can't believe it. Like, they were the one
They're
team
going to
that
fall
always
so far
showed up.
behind. They haven't won. They haven't made it past the round of 32 literally ever in the history of
Technically.
competitive anything. But they still are hopeful. And so
They
Team
are.
Bai may make it one of
They
these
get
days.
2 points. They get 2 points for every entry, and some weeks they get multiple entries. So
oh,
they must be catching up in terms
It's possible.
They must be there somewhere. Hopefully, we'll see them in the future.
Well, speaking of catching up, Janus is catching up into the competitive scene, now being picked first by SK Gaming.
Right,
Ross,
Janus.
Scylla, Aphrodite,
Janus.
and Kuma Karna are banned out. Kuma Karn. Janus.
Janus.
And
That's
then
it.
across
That's
the
how you
way,
say it.
Janus.
Janus.
Thor and Apollo are going to be locked in here for Vindicate with very strong picks here. But how do they round it out for Badja with that Janus pick?
How do they run it out with Badger with the Giannis pick? Well, the Kumbhakarna has been banned away from him, and that's one thing that Badger loves
Very
to
true.
try and do. Badger's really big on that one, but he's strong on Geb as well.
Sure.
And he's now that we've gone back to the Guardian meta, Badger should be picking up his stride a lot more in terms of what he'd like to play because he does favor the Guardians a lot more than he does over the Warriors that we've been played in support.
Right.
So it's back over to SK, and what are they going to choose? Well, looks like
Well, it's Reals. I think Artemis is going to come out here. Jung Kwei is picked as well. They may not pick. Oh, okay.
Artemis.
So there's Artemis.
Yeah,
we know Reals loves playing Artemis. Artemis actually had the highest win percentage by a lot. I believe it was 86% win in the last weekend. Artemis becoming very, very strong. But we do also have Rom entering the scene in about 2 weeks here. So excited to see him go into the competitive scene. Now, across the way, it looks like they're going to be hovering on Athena. I imagine they'd lock this in. That's going to be their support player. Considering the fact that Thor was already locked in, this is guaranteed to be their support. So they have Apollo, Thor, and Athena. That means they don't have their solo and they don't have their mid yet. And across the way, it looks like they have both. So Vindicate, not too worried about that. They're going to pick support and then ban out Geb. I like this choice.
Yeah, it's really, really smart. Okay, get our support, ban out another one away from SK Gaming and say, right, what are you going to play now, Badger? You're going to have to go deep. And we saw this in North America as well yesterday, Drybear, that supports are being focused a lot more, especially the Guardians, to try and throw people off the game. We ended up seeing Smite playing Chuck, and they kind of got forced into it in a way. They didn't really want to play it in the support role, but because of all the supports being banned out, it kind of made it that way that they had to pick it because there wasn't much left for them on the table. So forcing into the supports means that Badger's going to have to go deep down, and what do you reckon we'll see? We've not seen Bacchus in a little while. Hopefully we might see him again.
Honestly, there's still Chalk, there's still Hercules, both very, very strong and highly
ISIS.
aggressive warrior supports. I think they both work well. With Hercules on the table, I imagine they might even pick him up here. Badger, very capable player, can play a lot of different supports from different walks of life, and I imagine they'd want to go down that road. Now, Bacchus is still available across the way. Bacchus doesn't really have a strong fit against any of these characters. Isis being knockup immune during her wing gust. Apollo able to disengage very, very easily. Thor, highly mobile, and Athena with the dash. I don't think they want to go for Bacchus here. It doesn't seem to make sense. But however, Hercules would do a lot of damage, a lot of control. Chalk as well with a great AoE silence. We've seen time and time again people have been stealing away Gold Furies and Fire Giants with that Chalk silence. But they're going to go for Sobek here. Now, I'm of the impression that Sobek is not as great as people are giving him credit for. But it seems like he's getting a lot of interest in the competitive scene. It certainly has a lot of merits to him, especially in the laning phase. He's one of the strongest laners as far as the Guardians go.
There's a lot of talk about Sobek, and one of the biggest issues with Sobek is his engage, his charge prey. And this is what it all comes down to, really. When he uses his charge prey, if he doesn't connect, he's going to find himself in a very, very bad spot most of the time, and he has to get out. Obviously, he's got things like the tail whip to get him out, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. So when you think about Sobek, you have to land those charge preys to make him effective. Otherwise, he's just going to disappear consistently into the ground to try and run away.
That last pick, Hercules coming out here. So, final lineup for SK Gaming. You've got Janus, you've got Artemis, Jung Kwei, Hoonbats, and Sobek. It's going to be Sobek laning up with Artemis on the long lane. Jung Kwei is going to be going into, it looks like, the solo lane, and then Janus is going to go in the mid lane. We've got Hoonbats in the jungle, so we're going to have a pretty strong matchup from them. They actually have a lot of damage across the board and some decent range, but not that much mobility, minus the Hoonbats, of course. Vindicate across the way. They've got Apollo, Thor, Athena, Isis, and Hercules. It's going to be Isis in the mid lane, Hercules in the solo lane, Athena and Apollo laning up together in the long lane, and then Thor in the jungle. This puts Thor versus Hoonbats, which is an interesting matchup and generally can be quite fickle, considering the fact that if Hoonbats gets the jump, he generally wins, and if Thor gets the jump, he generally wins. And so it's more about who really has the positioning and the awareness to jump on the other jungler first.
That's right. I mean, that's what we'll see throughout that, especially in the jungle between those two. I mean, looking in the mid lane as well, Janus versus Isis.
No, it's Janus.
Sorry,
Janus.
When you say it quick, it's very hard to go. Just stop mid-cast and go, Janus.
Janus.
With Janus versus Isis in the mid lane, Janus is going to play this very carefully because he's got a lot of damage, but he's going to make sure those vortexes hit the minion waves. He's going to look to farm and play safe until around level 9 and 10, and that's when you'll start seeing Janus being very, very effective due to his mobility, which people seem to underestimate. Once he gets his threshold going, his 3, which is the threshold, he gives him mobility, as well as when he passes through a portal, it increases his mobility across the map. So keep an eye on that, and especially with that change to through space and Tim.
Poor Tim.
That's gonna do a lot of
has
damage.
to be the thing we always go through. to do anything.
But you've also got
One
to
thing
speak
that should be mentioned as well, the threshold is not just for Janus either. It's also for his
That's
team.
right.
And we saw last weekend when Janus was picked, the 2 times that he was, in one of the matches, if they got a big wipe, a big deicide in front of the Fire Giant. And so what they did is they used Janus with his portals and threshold to go around and pick up 3 towers and 3 phoenixes just in the time frame it took for them to respawn, just because he was giving his team so much movement speed and also going through walls with his portals there, so very mobile. But it's going to be the first game of the day, guys. Round of 32 is underway here. SK Gaming versus Vindicate is taking place right here, right now. We're going to cut to a brief break, and we'll be right back with the first matchup of the day. Stick around. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the start of today's tournament. We're watching SK Gaming up against Vindicate in this best-of-1 single elimination. It's going to cover who's playing what and where they're going for what team. The bottom side of the map, SK Gaming, you know him, you love him. Captain Twig playing Janus in the mid lane here. Playing for fun on Humbats in the jungle. Baja on Sobek playing support, backtracking his way through the front line. And Rails is going to be playing Artemis as his hunter. And last but certainly not least, Maniac with 2 Ks is on SK with Junkwei.
And on the other side of the map, fighting from the top of the map on the right-hand side of your spectator UI, we will be seeing Team Vindicate, the underdogs for this game going into it. Ivan Drago is going to be Thor in the jungle. DLXY is going to be playing Isis in that middle lane. Phoenix is on Apollo. Janus, is that Janus? Yeah, it's Janus on Hercules. And finally, we're going to see Campbell, New York. I'm pretty sure that says. No, Cambellini. Cambellini. There we go. On Athena.
Cambellini.
Wow. Cambellini.
Bellini. So nothing really too strange here. The start's going to be pretty standard. Guardian on the left side is going to be starting the blue buff there to make sure it wasn't stolen away. Mid lane getting pretty heated up here. Ice is actually one of the better level 1 pushers if utilized properly. You know, Spirit Ball along with Wing Guts can clear the way very easily. And generally most characters will end up taking a lot of gold loss and harassment in early stages as it comes through here. But a good reaction there from Captain Twig to push him back with the portal for harassment.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing Isis is going to do in this matchup. I think Isis' pick against Janus is very, very strong during the early stages, just because, like you said, her push is very strong, and it's so difficult to land.
Oh no, left side Badge is going to actually disconnect into the tower and give up first blood to Vindicate. That is so unfortunate. You can see him auto-running into the tower. I imagine a pause will be coming out shortly, as it looks like. There goes the pause. It did look like Badge actually disconnected there, so first blood will be going to Vindicate. That's going to put them up a very solid 724 gold here. 837 experience, looking very, very sharp. So unfortunately enough, SK Gaming taking a hit in the beginning. Now, granted, it is actually good that it went to the support out of all the characters. The 2 characters that are really unfortunate to lose early on, of course, is going to be Jungler and then either mid or Hunter. Those 2 are really, really rough. Solo can usually come back with help from the Jungler, but it's just so hard. If you're a hunter and you're far behind, you never really get started up. And generally what happens is you try to transition to mid-game, but you're so far behind the other hunter, you don't do enough damage. So we'll see how SK recovers from this.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they should be able to overall. They're an experienced side as well, Dry Bear. So, these things happen generally in games over and over again where people have small disconnects or whatever in terms of how the game starts. So even just have a really bad start to the early game and they can really transition quickly and get themselves back into it. I mean, at the moment, it's given them a very small lead, Vindicate, but maybe they can try and snowball from this. I mean, it is tournament play after all, Dry Bear, so you've got to try and take these opportunities, even if, they shouldn't really try and abuse it, but at the same time, you've got to just try and take the opportunity and go for the win.
That's right, and that's probably what they're going to try and go for here. And SK, given the history that they've had so far, I feel like Vindicate sees their opportunity after that and is feeling pretty good. But they have to be careful about the effect of just getting too comfortable. I mean, that happens to every single team they've seen before. Looking at the history, actually, as far as things go, last week SK made it actually until the round of 8, being eliminated by TSM. The week before that, week number 5, SK again round of 8 being eliminated. Week 4. Looks like they again went to round of 8 and got eliminated. So round of 8 seems to be the place that SK is going here. Unfortunately enough, it seems the majority of the time they go to round of 8, they end up playing TSM. Actually, that's the majority. Actually, I would say 5 of the last 7 weeks have been TSM in the round of 8. Unfortunately enough. So they've been kind of struggling to get past that part there. They are doing decently for the seeding points, of course, coming out every single week and making sure that they are here and present and accounted for, getting those seeding points stacked up. But Vindicate is certainly seeing an opportunity to push forward here.
Yeah, I mean, Vindicate will try and do that. And one thing about SK is every single week they're playing TSM, they should be learning something from that experience against them. And it is their stumbling block right now is TSM. So if they can actually come over that, they should be back in this one. And actually, you might see, a real big improvement from SK if they've managed to work out what they're doing wrong against SK. Sorry,
Looks
against
like
TSM.
Badge is back in the game here. Watcher's Gift complete. Actually goes for the Creeping Curse. Didn't really purchase much here as far as in-hand gold. He's got just 164 left, so hasn't really been able to purchase much after running to the tower there. Now, to be fair, it is Artemis on the left side. Artemis does decently in a 1v1 situation, or even 2v1, able to use the volley effectively to push the wave and kind of sit back. Has the board for CC immunity, plus a stun, trapped, root, and then, of course, the slow, plus a cripple. So, I have faith in Reels and his ability to deal with the situation, but certainly going to be very, very happy on the side of Phoenix KR for Apollo, who's now a little bit ahead in this lane. Individually, 2,400 gold for him and 2,000 for Reels, who's 400 gold ahead of his lane opponent, Artemis.
In the solo lane right now, you can see the junglers are slowly might be rotating out of there finally as Hombats leaves. But in that lane, generally it's the Vindicate that are going to be on the aggressive for the most part, because if they actually do catch someone with that Earthbreaker, then one of SK are probably in a lot of trouble there. So not surprising to see SK playing that very passive in that lane, and finally Hombats has left slightly earlier. So he's going to be a little bit behind in terms of experience, or should be once Thor catches up in the jungle.
Well, we'll see what he does with it, right? Because Thor is highly mobile, and so when Thor gets an opportunity to gank, he's certainly going to take it. The stun, plus the stun afterwards, and high burst damage is going to help either the mid or the solo. Hercules there or Isis, they'll both be able to react, and certainly both have their own CC to be able to combo with the Thor, and so we'll see what he does with that. Right side, Maniac is clearing the wave out, but not really as effectively hit as he would want. He's using the basic attacks from the Book of Demons to try and push this back here, but the card plus the exorcism just not doing him any justice. There goes the clear there, now hitting level 5. But, level 5 is starting to come out across the board, so ultimates will be available. Giannis, of course, can use his ultimate to clear the wave if necessary to back here, or just to, get into the lane. And that's the biggest thing that we don't really see a lot from Giannis, is that he can, go lane to lane with his ultimate and show up very quickly.
Oh, mid lane's going to be spawning. So mid camp's going to spawn very soon. Left hand side being contested right now. Ivan Drago is already there, looking to break you if possible.
And he might be doing that. There's a ward lightning bolt on the ground. Right camp. They're going to concede this and go to the right camp. I like this decision from SK Gaming. They realized they didn't have the numbers that Vindicate had to start. They were a little bit late to the camp there, and Sobek wasn't on his way over just yet. Oh, looking for a taunt, and Captain Twig going to find it. The ball's going to come out here. Going to get the stun. Threshold on the ground. There's the Hoobah's ultimate, forcing him away. Good reaction there. Priming the ultimate and using it just to go over the wall. Portal on the ground there. Good reaction from Hoombots, forcing them away, and he's going to be okay.
Yeah, Humbat's doing that. Playing for Fun did a good job there using that ultimate defensively just to make sure Janus could get out. And during the early stages, like I said, he's not as mobile as he is once he starts hitting like the level 11, level 12 sort of area. Once he hits that, you'll see his mobility increase amazingly, and you'll see him use through space and time a lot defensively just to make sure he can escape bad situations, especially with the immunity it now provides.
Mid lane being pushed up heavily there. Portal on the ground is going to make sure the wave gets cleared in its entirety. As far as the Hunters go, Reels lagging behind a bit here. We do have Devour's Gauntlet picked up by Phoenix across the way. Reels just looking to finish that one off here. Looking about still 400 gold between the two of them, so that gap has yet to be cleared by Reels just yet. Look at the charts. We're going to see a 480 gold difference between the two teams in favor of Vindicate, given the fact that they did get first blood in the start of this match. Captain Twig actually started with a lost artifact here, so looking like he might be heading towards an early Rod Rush, much the way you see C9 Sayo do all the time. He usually goes Rod's second item and then just builds up his damage from there.
Yeah, it's quite possible he could go for that one. It's one of those things that Giannis really likes. You just want to max as much damage as possible on him just to make sure when you do land that unstable vortex, it's going to rip through the team, which it really, really does.
Talisman picked up here by Hercules on Xanax. Starting there with that item means he just doesn't really want to have any harassment early on from Zhong Kui. He also has to consider the fact that Janus could be rotating over. It's another magic damage source. Humbots in the jungle will be ripping right through Hercules with no physical protection that he'll have available, but at the same time he feels like mitigate wounds and the driving strike plus the ultimate is going to be enough to keep him safe for the time being, and so far it's been successful. If we look at the control tab screen here, you can see that top kills actually goes to Humbots, of course, has credit for that kill on the left side, but damage goes to Isis and gold goes to Isis on the right side as well, so doing very well. Left side initiation coming out.
Yeah, a bit of aggression coming out from both sides there. Badger actually missed the charge prey, has to use the ultimate in the end just to make sure he doesn't take too much damage.
Well, that's what the ultimate's for, it's lane clear.
Lane clear.
It should just be called, clearing the lane in the waters.
You get mana back. That's why you don't need
it's mana regeneration.
That's why you don't need
what his
meditation.
ultimate's for.
You see?
It's a really
Definitely
good
step.
mana
Oh, Captain
generational
Twig in mid lane lands a nice portal, but doesn't actually manage to connect the vortex. But playing for fun, looking around, but he's going to walk into Ivan Drago one more time. I love that name, Ivan Drago.
Ivan Drago.
Good reference. I will break you.
Khaleesi. They're going for the mid camp here, about to respawn as you can see players grouping out. Thor's going up in the air though.
Right in front of
looking
him,
for
though.
Captain Twig, I imagine. There goes the portal, avoiding the
Great
dunk.
portal.
Giannis, he just got to teleport over.
Athena's
Look for
in.
it. Athena ultimate coming out as well. He's going to land on top, but does not have the distance. Sobek comes over, but needs to be careful here. Badge is not as tanky as he thinks he is. Double taunt, shield wall. Humbottle to spreading the cross, camping in the belly. Not going to have too much there. Threshold,
Apollo's
the
up.
ground is going to dash away. Up in the air, will he dunk? I don't imagine. Oh, left side, looking for reels though.
He went back in onto Reels. He's not going to find him, though. Immediately disengaging right-hand side. Once again, we're just going to see the old smashing party going on as right mid-camps get taken. But that was a big win for SK in a small way, just because of the fact that they burnt a lot of ultimates for a portal and a jump away from Hombats. That was it. That's all that they used to get away from that.
We've got Humbats in the jungle on the right side of the map looking to clear this away. The Harpies are standing tall, but not for long. Athena has finished off her Midas boots. We'll be able to get her gold up, includes with the Watcher's Gift. Now looking to just kind of passively farm that gold up and not really worry about everything else. But the biggest thing about this build for supports is it allows them to roam more freely. Athena's not worried about losing too much gold. She'll lose experience, granted, but supports usually do, as they have a lot of roles outside of the lane and outside of the jungle minions that would give them gold and experience. So, getting that passive gold regeneration allows them to roam around and still keep up.
So Captain Twig has been back to base, picked up the shoes of the Magi, and has also got rank 2 in the beads now. Going to be maxing that one out sooner rather than later, just to make sure he avoids the Spirit Ball. Right hand side though, Maniac does get aggressed on by Hercules, but quite happy to be relaxed and farm himself back up to full health again with those recall demons. And Thor was in the area looking, but nothing really coming of it.
Nothing coming of it indeed, but they're looking to grab something up here pretty shortly. Isis did end up going for penetration boots, and so did Janus there, as we do get a little bit of stasis mode on the screen. Gonna wait for that to clear out here. Death's Toll is doing wonders for Artemis because of the fact that she was behind. You're gonna see the same item picked up by Hercules to start the lane. Thor ended up going for boots first, gonna look for a warrior top B and looks across the way. Same thing goes for playing for fun, but because he ended up getting, was evolved with First Blood, playing for fun is going to actually finish off his warrior Tabi before Ivan Drago.
Yeah, it's good for him to be able to do that one. Thor dunking in middle lane, though. Going to find Captain Twig. Beads used immediately to try and get out of it. And there's the ultimate used once again for Tim. As we see Hombats aggressive, looking for the kill. Great jump away from Ivan Drago, though. But now Captain Twig from behind is looking to try and get some aggression on. Changes his mind, though. Backs away.
Too low on HP, definitely a great call. A little bit of recap of what happened in the left lane, though. Might have a flank in the mid lane here. DLXY in trouble, looking for the Spirit Ball. Gonna find nothing until a John Quay comes from behind. First blood for SK Gaming,
Apollo
second
rotating.
blood of the game. Paul's in the air. Will he dunk on the mid lane? Sobek is in the area, waiting
brave.
for Paul. Oh,
Oh,
he
the Paul!
avoids it! Sobek comes in. Phoenix KR goes out. He knew Apollo was coming through. Great call by Reels, and Captain Twig predicts it, leaves the portal on the wall for him to come on down, and Captain Twig avoids the kill. What a beautiful play, and earns a kill for his team. That is what I'm talking about. Hashtag SWC.
That's why Janus is one of these gods that are going to make a lot of more interesting games for us in the SWC. One of the interestingest abilities we've ever seen added to a MOBA. The ability to transfer through walls like that is ridiculous, Drybear. It was so nice.
Now, I want to
And
talk
it
a
showed
little
off the
bit.
communication as well, didn't it?
I want to talk a little bit about what happened in the left side lane as we were watching the mid lane there. Artemis actually initiated, Apollo initiated on Sobek, who dashed away, but then Reels actually almost got a kill, forcing the Athena use the boar, use the trap, big burst damage. Unfortunately enough, Reels got impatient and threw out the volley early. And the problem with this is if you're up against a dasher like Athena, you want to save that long range burst damage to finish him off. Athena had 1 HP left. And because Reels got greedy and tried to kill her before she dashed away and had no long-range distance there. So Reels could have
He's
even
gotta be
gotten a
careful.
kill there, but wasn't able to do it. Oh, mid lane.
He gets hit by a wall, and now he's in trouble because his portal's on cooldown for a few more seconds. Got a quite long cooldown, and he's going to drop down through space, and Tim
Nowhere
was
to
not
go.
available for him there. And with the portal usage, it is a 15-second cooldown dry. And when you use it for aggression or to farm, then you're not going to have any sort of escape.
Well, it's so hard, right? Because, Janus is not like an Agni who, save the dash and you're good to go. It's so hard to be able to escape. Once Janus is caught, he has no portal. Even Threshold won't get you out. And this is why I argue that Janus really doesn't have high mobility until late game where he has cooldown reduction or, a little more damage to his name. Because, early on, even if you have the portal and Threshold available, a lot of times it's not even enough to escape if there's a Thor or Humbats on the ground. And so we're going to go ahead and see if we can handle that. Looks like Humbats is going to jump away on the ground, and looks like we're going to cut to a brief break here and let the game kind of play out and get rid of the stasis mode so you have more of an enjoyable viewing experience for you at home. So we're going to cut to a brief break, and we'll be right back.
We are now
Welcome
live.
back, everybody. We're going right to the next match. A little bit of update for you in case you're wondering what just happened and you have a little bit of whiplash. Unfortunately enough, the server that they were playing on wasn't working. That game was not going to go out, so we're going right into the next round.